Okay, welcome to Malinovka. Now the main points for this map are going to be light tanks, this field over here. You want to try and get control over this. Now I'm not saying go into the field. I'm just saying you want to have vision over this field. There are bushes here and here that you can do so. You can also do like an active scout run with the EBR if you want to, if you're kind of a bit risky like that. But yeah, this field is very important. Because if anyone pushes from here, you're going to need someone to spot them, otherwise you're going to get flanked around here. That also means that you can send people over here and then try and go through this way to try and get into the base early on. But honestly, don't do that because it's not worth it at the start of the game to try and push this, because the majority of the time you're going to die before you even get there. So don't do that. Everyone that sits here camping, honestly, if you're in a slow tank and you can't do anything, then just camp, because like the problem with this map is that this light tank can actually spot people that are pushing out of here. So as soon as this light tank gets into this position here, he has vision over this bit here, and any slow tanks, they're going to get spotted and just die as soon as they try and get out. So if you're in a mouse or something, your only option is to go around like this, because all the heavy tanks want to get to this hill. If you can get to this hill, then you can actually fight over here. There's plenty of spots where you can actually go hold down and just kind of peek out, take some shots and then pull back again. But yeah, this hill is where the majority of the action is going to be for the heavy tanks. So that's why you want the heavy tanks to try and push up. What I would suggest is if you are in a heavy tank and you want to get there, just go around this pond and then up and then through the forest. That's the best way to get there, not across like this. Especially if you're in a slow tank, there's no point. Medium tanks, there's a nice spot here that you can go to and actually shoot across. The same for TDs. TDs, you can camp here if you want to, and then also camp up here. Or you can camp a little bit further back and try and support the hill as and when you can. Exactly the same for the other side. There's a spot here for medium tanks, and there's a spot around here, and just you can go pretty much anywhere here. The main problem with this map is that a lot of people are going to camp around the back as soon as they lose the hill. So as soon as, if this side, this green side wins, you're going to be in for quite a long game if they choose to go into here, because as soon as they go into here, it's really difficult to actually dig them out. And there's plenty of spots around here that you can actually just sit in and create cover, and you'll never get spotted when you shoot. And as long as you have someone to spot the people coming down off of the hill, all these people coming off the hill are going to die, because you will never spot the people in the forest. Exactly the same could be said for the other side with the forest. But yeah, TDs, you can camp at the back, camp there, camp in the forest, wherever. Heavy tanks, straight up to the top of the hill. But yeah, let's now get into the spots. Okay, so the first spot that I will show you is going to be over here, which is this bush right here, or right there on the map. Just make sure you come at it from this angle and go down as low as you can. The only counter really to this is that people that are going into the middle of the map might spot you as you're coming up, so keep that in mind. Lots and lots and lots of EBRs love to just fly straight through the map. Yes, it can work. I mean, I'm not going to demonstrate how to go through the middle of the map, because that's just, honestly, like, it's just insulting your intelligence, to be honest. Like, everyone knows how to just go into the middle of the map and then go back around. So, yeah. But this spot is very, very nice as long as you don't get spotted going into it. If you can get into this bush and then go something like this, as you can see, we even spotted the... I don't know why he's moving, but okay. But as you can see, we even spotted that light tank going across there. So if you sit in this bush right like this, and just stay as much in cover as possible, then you won't get spotted as they go past you, and you won't get spotted as they're coming up. The only thing is that if they have super high view range, as you can see, you can kind of see the tank through it. So just keep that in mind. Like, these two bushes are the best, but then in the middle it's kind of not as camoed. So just keep that in mind, because this spot does work. However, you're going to be able to see all of this here, and any heavy tanks that are going like this, or medium tanks that are going like this, and also anyone in their base that's camping. So this is a very, very, very powerful spot, and the #1 spot that I would recommend you go to at the start of the game if you spawned over this side of the map. Speaking of the other #1 spot to go to, this is the other side of the map, and this is this bush right here. It's a little bit less dangerous to actually get to, just simply because you have a lot more cover. As you can see, this is a big old dip that is right here. But what you want to try and do is instead, I always recommend, and some people are going to say no, don't do this, but because like it makes yourself a bigger target for the people that are blind fire in the bush. But if you go sideways, then anyone that's actually gone past won't detect you because you're not sticking out the bush like this. And also anyone that's going up there, for example, won't detect you because you're not sticking out of the bush. It's just a little tip that if you want to use it, then go ahead. But I understand that people say, you know, well, if anyone blind fires this bush now, you're a much bigger target for them to actually hit. So yeah, I understand both sides, but there you go. This is the exact same position, but for the other side, you can spot, as you can see, anyone that's going out like this. So if you are leaving the base, always go around the pond, because anyone that pushes through is going to spot you. So always go like that and around and up. Yes, it takes longer, but at least you're going to get there alive and with most of your HP, whereas you might not even survive the cross there. So yeah, this map's very, very deadly within the first few seconds, especially if you have a competent light tank and competent TDs on your team. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is the second spot. As you can see, everything over here, plenty of vision. Very, very nice for the opening game spotting. Now the next spot that I'm going to show you is an active spot, and both sides can use this, so I'm only going to show it once because it's exactly the same. All that you would do is, it's going to be around here, so all you have to do on the other side is go up and around here. But this will allow you to spot anyone that's trying to go up the hill early on in the game. Now what you can do is go into this bush, if no other light tank have gone here, and just sit here. Both sides work like this, you can do it. You shouldn't really be detected. Especially if you're in an EBR, you can get here very, very fast, faster than anyone else can. But yeah, if not, then you can just active scout this by going across like this, obviously at a much higher speed. Don't start off like there, like I did, but you can go around like this, be very annoying to try and hit, but you'll spot anyone that's actually trying to cross up here and up here. So this is very, very powerful for you to get some info on your team. Just be warned that if they go all the way to the back over here, you might not detect them unless they're a very, very tall tank. Because there is like a slight hill here and it goes downwards afterwards. So keep that in mind. But apart from that, this is a pretty solid spot. Especially if someone's already taken this spot, then here's the second best spot to go to. And it works at both sides. So yeah, that's pretty much light tanks. Apart from that, just active scout generally, like, there's plenty of bushes. Like you could even go into this bush here. I don't see many people use this. The exact same thing, you know, you can go over to that side or whatever. Like you will find spots that work for you, but also works for the situation of your game that it's in. So this will work, as you can see, and you can even actually, you know what? You could actually use this position to spot the hill as long as these trees are knocked down. Yeah, I mean, you'll be able to spot up there as well, so this isn't too bad. This spot could work for you. They don't really have a spot like this for the other side, apart from around here, but yeah. Also, another thing, if you are getting detected, please blind fire this bush or that bush, because chances are there's a light tank in it. So if you're getting detected straight away, just blind fire the bushes. Obviously corresponding to whichever side you're on. But yeah, that's light tanks. Let's move on to the medium tanks now. Okay, so medium tanks. The first one I'm going to show you is this right here. Now from here, you'll be able to shoot across and spot also anyone that's trying to push into this bush here. So if you have really good view range, if a light tank actually pushes into this bush, you'll be able to spot them. And not only that, you have great shots on being able to blind fire them. Obviously just pull back behind the bush, shoot through, and you're good. Be careful because the counter position to this is over there, which I'll show you in a second. And also anyone that's sitting in here will be able to have shots on you, obviously. And anyone that's sitting over there. Basically, you're pretty open once you're sitting up here, but you're pretty well hidden as well. So as long as you take the time to pull back and you have enough gun depression to shoot behind the bush, then you should be okay to shoot and kill people. Or you can just risk it, take the shot and pull back straight away, because more than likely you're going to get spotted. But yeah, you can pretty much shoot anywhere from here. You can also shoot up here, anyone that's pushing up the hill as well. So yeah, very, very nice position, especially to start off with in the game. Let's now switch over to the other side so you can see that perspective. Okay, so on the other side, you have all of these bushes here. You can knock down these trees as well to form kind of a little bit more cover. Just be warned that you want to try and knock these trees across if you are going to do this. And if you do this, then you're going to get probably spotted as you're knocking down the trees. So don't knock down too many trees, just some that you can use. But yeah, as you can see, we've built up a nice little barrier, nice little nest, and we can actually shoot across to that position, as you can see right there. We'll be able to easily take some shots at people, anyone that peeks up over there. The other position is this over here, but you're going to be spotted if anyone is sitting in the first bush that I showed you, which is that bush right there, as soon as you come across here. So if you get spotted, you instantly know that someone is in that bush, so you can quickly blind fire them and then progress up. Just wait a few seconds, 10 seconds, get rid of the detection, and then come back up here, and then you'll have some position, which is exactly the same as the other one. But yeah, that's the first spot I'm going to show you. Let's now move on to the next one. Now, this next position is actually this one right here. You're going to need a lot of gun depression to actually make this work, if you want to stay kind of well armored at the same time. That being said, you don't need like loads and loads of gun depression. You just need like enough. -6 or -8 is probably like the sweet spot. But anything around there is fine. Like SW1 here is just amazing. Or the UDES, whatever. But you can shoot up onto the hill. So anyone that tries to overpeak this and shoot across, then you can shoot them. You can pull back straight away. You can also be very, very annoying to anyone here because you'll proxy spot them. And then move up onto here later on in the game once you know the hill's cleared. And actually shoot across to anyone over there and also spot them. So this position is very, very powerful. Especially early on in the game. If you can get here right at the start, then you can actually get some, well, a lot of spotting and a lot of damage early on in the game, especially if they're pushing up here. You can get some quick shots off, you can then pull back, and you're just, happy days. The exact same thing is for the other side. The only dangerous part of this position on both sides is crossing this bit here. You're going to need a fast tank to be able to do this, and if you don't, then it's going to be a bit awkward, because you're probably going to die as soon as you try and do this. So even the Leo, as you can see, like, it's slow when it's going through that water because it counts as kind of swamp terrain. So you're going to be bogged down in the mud and it's not going to be very good. But yeah, the exact same thing is for this side. You'll be able to shoot across up onto here. Just be warned that it's not as good as the other side because you can't see people going up. And there's much more places that you're going to get shot from. Like the entire forest is basically looking at you for this position. So it's not as good as the other one. And you're a little bit more exposed because this doesn't stick out as much as the other side there. So keep that in mind. But it's still a good spot and you can still go all the way up here as well if you so choose. Well, I mean, if you do it correctly, you can. But you can still go up there. And then, later on in the game, you can push that and then go up here. As you can see, there you go. I did it right this time. But yeah, the exact same thing. You can then shoot across down into here and get some shots off. Also, you're going to get detected by this bush here or alternatively that bush there. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much the medium tanks. I don't want to go into too much detail about kind of the other spots because I want to preserve them for the TDs because really, like, you don't need to go into the forest here or forest here unless you're in a TD. Because, like, medium tanks should be able to just either go to the hill with the heavies if they got, armor or whatever. Or if not, then you've got plenty of spots around here that they can actually use to then shoot across onto people that are already spotted. So, yeah, that's why I kind of don't want to promote camping into the forest because, like, it's just stupid. Don't get me wrong. Like, I camp in the forest sometimes, but that's going to be saved to the TDs, and I'll speak about more about that later on. Let's move on to the heavy tanks now. Okay, so for the heavy tanks, what I'm going to show you here is the safest fast route that you can take. What you want to do is just make sure you kind of crest this pond here, And as long as you're going like this, then you should be okay. Never go along this road. It's not worth it. Honestly, just don't. Once you get to here, you're pretty much safe. You shouldn't get spotted unless someone's YOLOing down the middle. But even then, like, you're not going to be able to get hit by anyone over here because you're at the detection range. So that's fine. But what you want to do is get up to the hill as soon as possible for the heavy tanks, because there's no real point of going anywhere else. If you are in like a really slow heavy tank, then maybe you can sit at the back and try and just get some damage. But like, honestly, if you're going to play a really slow heavy tank, just ban this map. Like, it's not worth it. It's really not. For a mouse, honestly, like, Airfield is better than this map if you're in a mouse. So yeah, if you are going to play like a really slow tank, just try and ban this map unless you like it and you can go like, unless you don't mind taking like the longer route. But the only problem with that is if it's a turbo game, for example, or the enemy team are just much better than you, by the time you get to here, you've already lost a hill, so you're then stuck. Or, you know, you get to here and you've already lost a hill. So yeah, it works out that way sometimes. But yeah, what you want to do is get up to here. As you can see, I went along this line here because there's no point going across, because then you get spotted from over there. But yeah, once you get to here, you can either go hold down here, because there's, as you can see, there's lots and lots of little ridge or bumps along the terrain. So you can actually use that to your advantage and go hold down on them. By just going up to here, you can then, if you have gun depression, then you can obviously use your gun depression to shoot anyone down here, anyone that's pushing up to here. Or alternatively, if you are in a tank that can side scrape, you could side scrape on this corner here by the windmill, or alternatively over this side. So yeah, both of these positions work. You can go down there and just fight around the rock. Not really too much to talk about there. From the other side, it's exactly the same. You can use the terrain to your advantage, or side scrape along the windmill. There is a spot up there that you can go into. However, these bushes don't really work because you can't get far enough back. And if you do, all they need to do is like have a little bit of view range, and as long as they're here, when you shoot, you're going to get detected. So unless you're in something like an E25 at the back there, then you're not really going to be able to do much. But yeah, this is just how it is. It's very open to artillery, which is not very fun. Honestly, you're going to get bombarded with artillery for a lot of the time when you're up here. So keep that in mind and try and stay behind the windmill if you can, because then that will block from artillery, or at least some of the shot from artillery. But yeah, this is just where you fight. There's not really too much else to say. You then progress down, and you will hopefully not die as you're progressing down. One thing that I do want to say, on either side, you can actually drop off the cliff. So for example, if you're coming down here, what you can do is then drop down like this, and as long as you go sideways as you come down here, you won't take any damage. So keep that in mind, because then if you go up here, and we got detected because he's moved his light tank somewhere, you can go hold down on this side here if you've got enough gun depression, or alternatively go all the way around and then you've taken over this side. So that's how you push down off of the hill safely. Don't ever really like go straight down the hill, because it's not worth it. You're just going to get shot by anyone sitting there. And the exact same thing can be said for the other side. Although you don't really have as much of a chance to do it, because it's right at the end here, but just before this rock, that you can drop down. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's heavy tanks. I'm not going to talk any more really about it, because there's not really too much to talk about. Let's now move finally onto the TDs, and I can discuss this forest situation. Okay, so for the TDs, now this is going to be slightly interesting, because yes, you can camp here and you can go here. So I've kind of spoken about most of the spots that the TDs can go to. I mean, I'm not going to talk about this, because either side, you just go to, well, there's two rocks here. You go there, and there's bushes on each one. So you can go there and just sit there. For these, you can go into the houses. There's also bushes along there. I'm not going to show you that, because it's literally just self-explanatory. You go there. That's how it's done. But what I want to talk about is the forests of either side. So yes, the TDs can push up to here and then just camp this bit right here. And as long as you're behind this bush, you're fine. Anyone that comes down here, you have shots on them. Also, you can go all the way to the back, and as long as you have a clear line of sight, you can just sit there behind loads and loads of trees. Now, the problem with this map is that it becomes the most campy map in the game, besides Prokhorovka, when a team loses the hill. Because as soon as a team loses the hill, they all retreat into the forest. And honestly, this forest is much worse to actually dig people out of than this forest. Because at least for this, there's actually kind of like hills in the way, so you could kind of like get a little bit closer, then go in. But for this, all you need is someone to sit here to spot the hill, and then everyone else sits back, and everyone's dead. Everyone that comes down off the hill is dead. There's nothing they can do. Even if they try and push up through here, they still get shot at. So this kind of forest, which I'm going to kind of majorly talk about, and also switch sides in a second, is the worst one. But for this, like, it's exactly the same, nearly. You just fall all the way back and just hide. Like, you can create nests pretty easily. Let me just demonstrate quickly. So, for example, let's say you want to create a nest out of these trees. And, you know, I call it my unicum nest. But all that you have to do is just knock a few trees over, and you've got solid cover from basically everywhere. So you knock this one down, let's say, you knock this one down, you just make a nice little circle out of the trees, like so, and then you knock this one down that way, and you knock this one down, but you need to actually move this one forwards a little bit. So let's say you knock these ones down like so, and then you knock the rest of these down going forwards. So we just turn, we'll knock this one, and we'll knock this one. Well, I missed it, but shh, no one has to see that, okay? We'll cut that on the edit, wait, what? But then we'll knock all of these down like so. And now you have a completely solid cover from basically everywhere. Like, all you have to do is just go behind this. Like, you can even knock this down if you want to. And then those two, whatever. But, like, look at how much cover you now have. Like, all of this acts as solid cover. And you can do that anywhere. Because there's loads and loads of trees, you can even use HE to do this. Like I showed you on steps. You can use HE to actually knock down trees in the way that you want them to be. So, I'll tell you what, we could even do it to this tree here. Let's say we want to knock this tree down. If I can actually get the gun depression. This is going to be a bit awkward. Let's say I want to knock this tree down. We'll go around like this so it's easier to do it. We wanted it to knock down so it's like that way. So it goes kind of into that tree. So all we have to do is just do that. And then it's knocked down like that. So HE rounds work exactly the same as they would, kind of like an explosion would in real life, in like the way that it goes. It's not just like random. So yeah, you could make a nest just out of HE if you really wanted to. But you have all of this cover and you just have to sit here. And like, if you knock this tree down over there, you're then covered from that side as well. So you're in a very, very camoed location to just sit there and just farm people that are coming down off the hill. And all you need is just one guy to spot. Like, he could even be like in this spot over here. Or these bushes here. So yeah, like, there's plenty of spots that you can sit, and then once you've won the hill, it's like, oh, well, what do I do now? Let me quickly go to the other side so I can talk about this a little bit more. Okay, so this is one of my favourite spots to go and sit in. This spot around here. Now, as you can see, there's plenty of trees, and also there's a few bushes here already. So all that we have to really do to actually maximise our like potential out of this spot is knock this one forwards. Also knock this one forwards, and then we can actually send this one backwards towards us. As we can see, where's the tree? The tree trunk's actually there. So we just knock this one like, okay, well, I missed, but there you go. As long as this one comes across like this towards us, we're actually really, really good. So let's just try that again, Max. There we go. But yeah, we knock this one towards us. We can knock this one then to the right, like so. And you can also knock this one down and towards us as well. And create like a stupid amount of cover between you and the enemy. And all you have to do really is just go here, and then they're not spotting you as you come down off the hill. Like, as soon as they come down off the hill, like, you could even knock down this tree as well, and knock that one forwards or backwards, whatever way you want to do it. So yeah, as soon as they come down off the hill, you sit here. You could knock this tree kind of forwards as well, if you really want to give yourself a little bit more protection from the sides. But yeah, this is one of my favourite spots to actually sit in, just simply because there's so much cover that you can actually use. And I mean, like, no one's really going to spot you here unless they come right the way up. Like, you sit here, and then you can just go back a little bit. We could actually even knock this one sideways. You know what? Screw it. I just realised I was using AP. But you can knock that one sideways, and then you're in a super camoed spot. So use this, honestly. Like, just knock a few trees down. You don't need to use HE, but just knock a few trees down, get some cover, and as long as there's solid trees in the way, you won't get spotted. So honestly, really useful spot to use this, and use the kind of camo to your advantage, or these trees to your advantage. Because knock a few down. Also, if you're playing artillery, just splash anywhere around here. If you see people doing that, this map is honestly stupid, because what are they going to do? They have to come down here and then push all the way in. The only way that you break this kind of camp in the forest is if someone with armor, like I've done this in my i7. I just went and YOLO'd it. You just YOLO in, you die for it, but you get like a stupid amount of spotting damage as well at the same time, as long as your team can actually shoot them and they're in positions to actually shoot into the forest. But yeah, that's Malinovka. As I said, for the TDs, you can go here, kind of here, anywhere really, to get some spots. Use some of the medium tank spots that I showed you over here and here, or just go into the forest and just try and shoot people on the hill or around the place. But yeah, that's Malinovka. Hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking the video, as that does help me out a lot. We hit 1k subs, so I'm super proud about that. And yeah, come join the Discord, follow me on Twitch. Everything's down below in the description and pinned on the comment section. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit.